Hmm. Betrayal is a bitch. A hypnotic opera where love and loss walk hand in hand. Rumbling Hearts does not shy away from the sad song of real life. Fans of the romance genre must surely take note. Tough situations are conveyed with surprisingly realistic emotions, creating a genuine keepsake production for those who know the most intense conflict comes from within. You will be forever changed. And forever changed I was. Hi, my name's Mike Jones, and welcome to LWEIO.
I don't like all this space stuff. What if a scary alien appears?
For the first episode of Let's Watch Everything I Own, and more importantly this channel, I wanted to start with something special. I want to talk about something that left a personal impact on my life and helped change me to become the person I am today. And so, I figured what better place to start than with the show that started it all. So let's do just that. It's time to talk about Rumbling Hearts. Oh god.
Rumbling Hearts is a romance drama that is centered on the love triangle between best friends Takayuki, Haruka, and Mitsuki. There is also supposed to be another friend in this group, Shinji, but he is almost never relevant. With the foundation of the show in place, let's talk about each character starting with Haruka. Haruka is your bog standard timid and shy girl who has a crush on the main protagonist Takayuki. She wants to study child psychology after high school because it is her dream to write books for children one day. She is also best friends with Mitsuki. Mitsuki, on the other hand, is the more extroverted one. She is the ace of the high school swim team and is positioned to be earning scholarships for performing so well. Mitsuki knows about Haruka's crush and tries to help her by befriending Takayuki herself so Haruka would have a better chance of getting close to Takayuki. However, while being friends, Mitsuki develops a crush of her own towards Takayuki. Not wanting to betray her best friend, Mitsuki keeps these feelings buried away. And finally, we have Takayuki. Takayuki is your average high school guy with no real plans for his future. Takayuki also begins to date Haruka after Mitsuki sets them up. The entire first episode is about setting up Takayuki and Haruka's relationship. It goes from fast character introductions to the confession to the awkward phase of starting a relationship to "do you even like me?" and finally ends with Takayuki and Haruka saying, "let's not go back in time because we would lose what we have now." I don't know about you, but I think there's a little too much stuff crammed into one episode. Episode 2 is the honeymoon phase, where Takayuki and Haruka's relationship starts looking like a real relationship. Takayuki is introduced to Haruka's family and things between them are looking good. In the middle of the episode, the seeds are planted for Mitsuki to keep strong and hold out for the person she really likes, aka Takayuki. Now then, all this love triangle needs is something to throw it into. Wait a minute. Do you hear that? Oh my god, Truck-kun, no! And Haruka was hit by a truck waiting for Takayuki. Thanks, Truck-kun. You're the best. So, Haruka is hit by a truck. Takayuki was late to see Haruka because he ran to Mitsuki on the way there and blames himself for the accident. Mitsuki blames herself for keeping Takayuki from getting there on time. And Shinji... Wait, who's Shinji? Oh, that guy? He still isn't needed. Get him out of here. It is at this point where the story really starts to go full speed ahead. For better or for worse, this accident, and the results of it, are what almost everything in this story becomes about. If you did not initially really care about these characters, and honestly there really wasn't much to work with in only these 2 episodes, then the rest of the show is probably going to have you rolling your eyes or extremely bored. For example, this accident puts Haruka in a coma for 3 years. The immediate events following the accident are believable, as Takayuki grieves over what has happened and blames himself as the weight of reality pushes down on him. However, we are meant to believe that for almost an entire year after the accident, Takayuki becomes so depressed that he basically loses all will to live and is almost non-functional. This would seem like a realistic scenario if Takayuki had lost someone he loved for most of his life, but this is a girl he dated for less than 2 months. Yes, the entire first 2 episodes are the 2-month period that Takayuki and Haruka dated leading up to the accident. In the 3 years that Haruka was unconscious, Mitsuki was there to support Takayuki and slowly helped him to move on. The two of them end up dating and even begin looking to find a place to live together. Things between them are looking good until the past resurfaces and Haruka wakes up from her coma. That's another thing that will have you rolling your eyes. When Haruka wakes up, she has no realization that 3 years have gone by. Haruka thinks that she is still in high school and dating Takayuki. It's fairly believable that Haruka doesn't understand that a long period of time has passed since the time she had her accident. All they would have to do is slowly get her accustomed to the fact that it has been 3 years since she was last awake. But no. Instead of that, the doctor has everyone playing this elaborate charade where they all pretend to be living their life as if it were the past. This essentially means that Takayuki has to pretend to be dating Haruka again. Of course, this is used to create drama between Takayuki and Mitsuki, as Mitsuki begins to feel helpless and inferior to Haruka. Speaking of this charade, Haruka's parents then have the audacity to ask Takayuki to keep seeing their daughter and pretending to date her. Might I add that her parents are the ones who told Takayuki to never visit their daughter again. Granted, they had a pretty good reason to demand that when Takayuki went off the deep end and tried to carry Haruka's unconscious body to the local children's book fair that they promised to go to together, but still, these guys can't even keep up the performance themselves, so why the hell are they sitting here trying to force the problem on someone else? Anyways, Takayuki agrees to continue visiting Haruka out of some obligation he feels towards her. If it stayed just that, an obligation, then going to visit every so often to help Haruka recover doesn't seem like such a bad thing. But of course, things don't go that way, and Takayuki ends up getting closer and closer to Haruka until eventually he is pushing Mitsuki further and further away. Mitsuki, the girl we are led to believe that was there for Takayuki in his supposedly darkest time and helped him get out of his slump. The girl he has spent the last 3 years with and was even talking about taking their relationship to the next level by moving in together. Yeah, she gets shafted for most of the show because Takayuki never talks openly with her and would rather continue chasing a fake relationship he had for 2 months back in high school. Do you see what I mean? For a show that is supposedly full of realistic emotions and tough situations, a lot of it means nothing or doesn't make sense if you just take a second to consider the events that unfold throughout the story. And that's not to say there is nothing of value to be had in this story. The struggle of young adults trying to make time for each other between work schedules and trying to find a place to live together is shown well. I would be lying if I said my heart didn't sink to my stomach when Takayuki reached the scene of the accident, or I didn't tear up at the end of the show when they showed the children's book that Haruka wrote about 4 friends. I also don't hate the idea of having a story based around a tragic accident that affected the lives of each character. It's just that if you don't buy into the characters and the events of the story, then you aren't going to be invested in anything and will probably think most of the show is stupid and a waste of time. Remember though, this is the current me talking about all of this. Since the time I first watched this show, I have seen and learned a lot. I can look at the show's source material, see it as a visual novel, and think, oh, so that's why the first 2 episodes seemed to go so fast you could barely make a connection to the characters. You were originally expected to spend a few hours reading and getting attached to these characters before reaching the climactic accident. If you were to ask me if I knew what a visual novel was back then, I'd probably guess something like a comic book. Here, let's change gears real fast. Allow me to tell you a little story, because, believe it or not, despite everything I've said, there was a time that I really bought into everything this story had to tell me. Let's go back about 8 years ago, to 2012. I was just starting my freshman year in high school, and was about as depressed as most freshmen are. I had gone to a private middle school, and upon transferring to public high school I lost all my friends. I had begun to hate school with a passion and slept through almost every single class. I never joined a club because the last thing I wanted to do was stay shackled to that building any longer than I needed to. I was the awkward kid who few people talked to and whose book bag was zip tied to the lunch table by the football players. Basically, your average high school freshman, right? Anyways, the first season of Legend of Korra had already ended earlier in the year, and I decided I wanted to rewatch all of Avatar: The Last Airbender before I watched Korra. Since I was limited to what was airing on live TV at the time, I took to the 7 Seas and found a little website called Watch Cartoons Online, where I watched a few episodes of The Last Airbender and Korra each night before bed. After a few weeks of doing this, it became a habit. When I finally caught up and had nothing more to watch, I needed something new to watch. So, late one night, I went to the homepage of Watch Cartoons Online in search of something to watch. I wasn't looking for anything in particular. I just needed something to turn on for background noise as I fell asleep. Conveniently for me, on the homepage there's a section called Today's Anime that rotates to a random show every day. Perfect. I don't have to make a decision myself, and whether it's something I like or not is irrelevant since I'm just using it to go to sleep. I had no idea what I was about to get myself into. Rumbling Hearts was the anime of the day.
and this show was nothing like I've ever experienced before. I was immediately drawn to the show through being able to relate to Takayuki. Takayuki was just an average high school guy with a group of close friends I wish I had. He had a cute girl who liked him and was awkwardly struggling to be a good boyfriend. In this scene where he struggles to ask Haruka to go see a movie with him and ends up causing her to cry when he doesn't ask her, I know for a fact I would have done the same thing and then kicked myself in the ass for being so stupid later on. But he worked through it. And by the end of the episode they made up and their relationship was in full effect. Takayuki and Haruka were cute together, and watching them go on dates enjoying each other's company was honestly all I could ever dream of having. Haruka brings out the best of Takayuki and even motivates him to better himself to pursue college with her. I was completely blindsided when the unthinkable happened.
Haruka? Haruka, where are you? Haruka? Excuse me, sorry. Haruka! Are you okay? Haruka!
I have verified the identity of the victim through her student ID. Victim is a senior at Hakurio University, the college feeder school. Her name is Haruka Suzumiya.
I was sitting straight up in bed, jaw dropped. Oh my god. Is this really happening? I had no idea how to react. I did the only thing I could do, and that was to continue watching. The show became an addiction. Every episode had me on the edge of my bed craving more. What happened to Haruka? Mitsuki and Takayuki seem to be having a nice relationship together, but where's Haruka? Wait, Haruka has been in a coma for 3 years? Mitsuki and Takayuki deciding to live together is cute. Oh my god, Haruka woke up believing her and Takayuki were still together just like it was 3 years ago. When are they going to tell Haruka it's been 3 years or that Takayuki and Mitsuki hooked up? Oh man, Takayuki's a mess following the accident. It's too much. He just wants to keep his promise to Haruka. Poor Takayuki. Oh my god, Mitsuki confessed her love. Alright Takayuki, if you feel some obligation towards Haruka, I guess you should see her until she gets better, but don't do anything. You stupid tool! Why are you gonna do the promise of love with Haruka? You have Mitsuki! Mitsuki is going crazy feeling she is losing Takayuki to Haruka. Look at what you did, you idiot, Takayuki. Oh, so Mitsuki is moving in with Takayuki in hopes of getting closer to him. That should help. Oh my god, Takayuki kissed Haruka. What the hell is wrong with you, man? Great. Now Takayuki is pushing Mitsuki further and further away. Mitsuki is going crazy over here and you're still just worried about Haruka? Uh-oh. Haruka is beginning to question how long she has truly been asleep. Oh god, Mitsuki, please don't do anything stupid you're going to regret. Yeah, good job, Shinji. Help your friend. Oh my god, Haruka's sister has a breakdown and tells her it's been a lie this whole time and unintentionally causes her to go into shock. Shinji, you stupid motherfucker! Don't just sit there letting her make this mistake. You can still do something! Oh, damn it! Well, we've hit rock bottom. Everything's gone to shit. Mitsuki is gone and Takayuki just now realizes how badly he's fucked up. He finally decides to face his problems, and Haruka gives Takayuki the best gift she could. She gives him the gift of parting words, and the two of them say goodbye. Alright, Takayuki, you idiot. Now go find Mitsuki and make things right. Yes. Good. Let her know how much she means to you. And just like that, it was over. A bittersweet ending to the roller coaster of emotions I was ill prepared for.
I remember when it was over. I just sat there for a little bit taking in everything I just witnessed. This random show pulled me in with an easy to relate to character, grabbed me by the collar and said, "Oh, we're just getting started," and dragged me through the ringer only to just as quickly leave me alone to cope with everything I just saw by myself. This show was nothing like I've experienced before. I was snapped back to reality when my mother came to wake me up for school. I got so invested I unintentionally stayed up all night without realizing it. The point I want to illustrate here is that, given the right time and circumstance, even a show I would by no means consider a masterpiece today was something I once held near and dear. Rumbling Hearts was a show that introduced me to the world of anime, and, you might even say, changed me forever.